when you take a woman out, even if she offers to pay, just fucking pay. Pay. You took her out, just pay. Hey, I'm James Burnham. This is a segment where I react live to videos I've never seen before. This one is couples secretly share their most vulnerable moments. Wonder what we're gonna see. This could be interesting.
I think I would have lost my damn mind if she wasn't there.
So they ask couples questions individually, then they talk about them together.
My name is Dia Frampton. I'm 31 years old, and I am an actress and a singer-songwriter.
My name is Khalif Boyd. I'm 31, and I am an actor.
A relationship?
We're in a relationship, yeah. We're in a relationship. Going
4
on
years?
5 years. We were at Busby's. It was super packed. And
So right now he's talking about how they met, and she's sitting there in front of him, but she has noise canceling headphones on so she can't hear what he says. So he's gonna talk about his side, and then she will talk about her side while he doesn't hear, and then I suspect we'll let them see the discrepancies in their stories together.
like the Red Sea, I look towards the bar and I see Dia amongst the crowd, and she was double fisting with alcohol.
I was pretty drunk. I was with my friend Yori, and I just leaned over to her and said, "That guy's really hot." He had really big hair at that time, and I grabbed one of his curls and I kind of pulled on it. And then he turned.
So he describes the first meeting. And he's at a bar, he looks over, and he sees her double fisting alcohol. She's just getting drunk, right? In the next segment, he's got the headphones on, and she's telling her side, and she's like, "I saw this guy, and he's so hot, and I went over, and I pull on his hair," right? So she's clearly drunk at this point, and her inhibitions are gone, and she's pulling on a stranger's hair, right? And you're a guy, and you got a pretty girl pulling on your hair, you're like, "Thank you. Yes, please, pull on my hair." So he's just sitting here listening, but it's funny just to hear the two sides of the story.
He turned around, and I think I just said, "Hey." And I think I went away. I got scared, and I ran away.
You said you have really cool hair.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I said, "Hey," and then I went away.
Or you say you have cool hair, and you probably hear that a lot. I'm like, yeah.
We went on a walk around the Silver Lake Reservoir for our first date. We stopped at Ellie Mill and we got some coffee. And we talked a lot about our families and our past. And he told me so much about his family that I actually went and wrote a song about it.
She immediately made me feel very comfortable in sharing things that I struggle with my family, to the point where she actually made a song about it. But it was a really beautiful song, and it made me rethink my whole situation. It was almost like therapy, and like someone really understood me.
That's kind of beautiful. So they talk about the first date, and she talks about how he shared about his family and his personal life, and it was really beautiful. And he was authentic. He was showing up. He was telling her about himself, his real self. And she hears this, and she likes it, and she writes a song about him and his family. And then he says, we didn't get this from her, but he says, "I shared with her about my family because she made me feel very comfortable." He's saying she offered me safety. And so he said, "My struggles with my family." She didn't say that. So she's got a safe space for him, right? She's not sharing his story. She's already showing that she will honor this man, and she will keep what is safe with her, or what is hard safe with her. But she's not telling that he said he was struggling. He told us that. That's a unique thing. I see this a lot of times in relationships where someone will tell a story and they'll say something and you can see the flash in the person's eyes, the counterpart's eyes, or they'll even say, "Yeah, don't say that," right? You get to tell your own struggles. Don't talk about your partner's struggles. And they're doing this. It's kind of cool. That's what I noticed.
He paid for my drink, which made me really happy.
I don't remember.
You did.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit old school. I'm from Utah, and that's just how I was raised, I guess.
So if I didn't pay for it, you would have been like.
It would have been a little bit of little for me.
Ding.
Do you know what? She says, he paid for my drink and I really like that. And he was like, oh, I don't remember that. And she says, well, I'm from Utah, so I'm a little bit old school. But the reality is, they've done studies on this, right? Men, when you take a woman out, even if she offers to pay, just fucking pay. Pay. You took her out, just pay. What you're telling her is, hey, I'm here with you, I want to do this, and it creates safety for her. And when she feels safe, guess what? She'll like you more. That's all it's about. She wants to know that you'll take care of him just as you want to know that she'll take care of you. And that's your way of demonstrating it. And as old school and archaic as it may be, they like it. Every woman likes it. There might be a random one that was insistent. And you know what? If you like that, that's cool. But most people like to be cared for. And they like to be cared for in traditional ways and, frequently. In spite of all the statistics we see out, or not the statistics support that. In spite of all of the talk that we see out there about, hey, we need to be more equal or whatever, we do. But equality is not a measure of what we're measuring. Equality is about, do I have the opportunity to go after what I want and do what I want? Do I have the same chance that you do? Well, you don't. So equality is a hard thing to get. You can't legislate it, but you can say, I will support you in whatever you want to do. That's equality. If I can offer you my support in whatever it is you're chasing, and I will back you, that's the best kind of equality. And I'll still buy you dinner, right? That's what people want. They want the safety, the haven. Anyway, I think they're demonstrating that.
It just
When did it
kind
become
of
love?
all these little things piled up. All of a sudden, it just felt like love. It just happened.
Yeah, she was performing with her band, and by this time I was already getting to know her and how freaked out she gets before she performs. And just to know the courage and the bravery to go up there and to really be vulnerable with the audience through your ability to express already. You made me find my voice more as an artist.
It just seemed to be this thing that built up until it was just
Wow.
there.
That was a cool compliment. She said when she started to love him, she was like, it was a combination, it was an accrual of a number of things that got to a point where it was like, wow, this is love. Because there were so many things that he did that made her feel that way, right? That's a girl. It's complex, right? It's a whole thing. And he says, I was watching her perform, and I know about how scared she gets before she goes on stage and how hard it is. And I was so impressed with her bravery and courage to stand up and be authentic in front of the crowd. And that taught me how to be a better artist. Wow, right? A simple thing. This guy saw an example. He was like, wow, I really like that. I like how that hits me. It impresses me. He is so impressed with what she did and her bravery. Guys, we like bravery. We are impressed by it.
Up until it was just there.
It was when I played basketball. I made a 3-pointer.
No.
You're like, that's so hot.
Nope.
No, it wasn't. All right.
So they're like, this question now that we've gotten through the feel good, the build up stage, right? Now we're getting to the vulnerability. The question that they're asking is, what is the person's greatest weakness, right? So she's about to talk about his. This is going to be interesting to see what happens.
He feels uncomfortable with intimacy. I almost feel like he didn't see it a lot growing up, maybe. I've been kind of taking the reins with that and just being very vocal about, hey, touch me or kiss me with, sometimes I'm like, kiss me with your tongue.
She used to be really negative in terms of the competition, and negative, if I didn't get this thing or that thing, it's because of me and my ability.
Just kind of confronting your own intimacy and being open about that, more vulnerable, because I don't think you saw that a lot growing up. And
Yeah. Not seeing your own worth.
She's calling his greatest weakness his struggle to deal with intimacy. I would call it affection, because they are very intimate in their conversation here. Intimacy to me is a connection that is beyond just physical, right? But she's talking about displays of affection, how he kisses her, like casually, just that casual sort of physical touch. And she wants more of that because he didn't have that growing up. And that's actually fairly common for boys. A lot of boys don't have that growing up. And then he said with her, it's her sense of self-worth. Honestly, he's wanting her to love herself as much as he loves her. And this is a huge thing. Huge. Because there may be people in your life that can love you to a depth that you cannot go yourself if you're not there yet. You're responsible for getting there. And then the ability of you to receive that love and have it land is there. Without it, that person, if she can't deal with her sense of unworth and lack of value and hold it, some of his love will never hit her because she hasn't delved down that far within herself. That's tragic.
That was my main thing. Just your own worth and how much you mean to a lot of people, me. And
Thank you.
yeah, and you don't give yourself enough respect.
Yeah, there's always a lot going on. Trying to keep up with everything. I always feel like time's running out, I guess. As a female musician, I get scared that I'm getting too old to, barely be making rent. And I always am trying to stay positive, I guess. And I put you through a lot.
I put you through a lot too. The intimacy, that's something I've learned with Dia. I didn't really see much of it growing up.
Yeah.
Like my mom is deaf, very limited language. She has a tough time expressing herself to me. And my father, very stoic, from that generation, and they weren't really intimate with each other. So I didn't realize how much that influenced me.
But I think the good thing about you, though, is you're really open to working on things.
Which is you're the first person to help recognize that or not be afraid to be like, you're like this.
When were you most vulnerable in front of
My
the other
biggest
person?
vulnerability moment was when my dad had a stroke. My sister texted me and told me that Dad's in the hospital and it's pretty serious. And we were actually on our way to Palm Springs when I got the phone call. And I told her that we had to make a U-turn and just a lot of stuff in the closet that I wanted to bring out from my own father. And I think I would have lost my dad mind if she wasn't there. And I'm just so torn between like yelling at my dad and crying for my dad. And she's like, stroking my back and calming me down.
I had a little tour on the East Coast, and he flew out. And there weren't a lot of people that came to the show. It was very, very empty. It was a very empty room. It was in Pennsylvania. And I actually started crying on stage because I felt almost embarrassed that the room was so empty. He kind of saw me like trying to hold it together. I was trying to manage all my friends who were the musicians and make sure they were happy and pay them and get them settled and then play shows and then also drive us to the next city.
But you did all that on your own in the East Coast. Like, that's so amazing.
His story kind of hit me because his most vulnerable moment, his dad had a stroke, and he goes to confront his dad. He's not sure if he's going to live, and he has torn feelings about his father. There's parts of him that hates his dad, and there's parts of him that loves his dad, and he didn't know what to do. And she was there helping him, and he was able to meet his father with love and not lose it and scream at him for the things he was angry at, which is wise, right? He doesn't know if his dad's going to make it. You don't want your last moments to be screaming at the man that raised you, whether there's reason for it or not. You want to show up with love, right? That's how you want to do it in this, and he's grateful because she did that. My dad had a stroke in September on his birthday, on his 86th birthday. My dad is a baller. The day before, he was up top of the mountain, the ski resort in my town, did a big hike, mountain bike down, went and he volunteers at a place that grows food for some homeless people in a homeless shelter, and he's a good gardener, so he went there, did all the gardening. Then he went out and went kayaking on the lake. And then on Monday, Sunday was his birthday, he had a stroke and was in the hospital, but he had already had a big zip line adventure set up for Monday. So this is a guy that's charging, right? And then he had this stroke. What I can say about my dad is he has always been the most diligent, hardworking, engaged man that I know with deep integrity. He has not always been the kindest man with words. He struggled with that, and it is a result of how he was raised. But with this stroke, all of his edge was gone. And I'm older now, so I have really fortunately been able to deal with a lot of my anger issues with my father, and they're gone. I don't have them. But what was beautiful was when I went up, my whole family came, and we met with my dad. It was just love. And it was a really, really beautiful thing. And my dad's doing good now, so I'm happy about that. But that moment of fear, when you confront the mortality of your parents, it's a real thing. And this girl stood beside him and helped him show up in the best way for his dad. That's beautiful. And then he talks about her ability to manage the show when she really was struggling and crying on stage, and he just goes right at her. You know, she's talking about it as if it was this failure, and he sees this just glorious bravery and this strength, and he's reflecting that back on her, right? And these are vulnerable moments that when we as couples, John Gottman, I think, calls them gateway moments, right? I don't know if that's the term he uses, but the idea is we have these moments in time in relationships where a door is open and you can choose to enter that door and increase the value and the safety and the love within the relationship, or you can stand and witness it and ignore it, and that's a missed opportunity. And both of these were these gateway moments where they stepped through and they were there for each other in the right way, and they're still doing it. And that's a beautiful thing to witness. And you can see the love and affection that these two have as they're exposed to these vulnerable, hard moments. And the person that was beside them stood with them and supported them. You want that, right? You want that in a relationship. Anyway, these are the vulnerable moments. And, you know, sometimes we like to hide our most vulnerable moments from the people we love particularly because we feel that it makes us look weak. And all I can say to you, and this is something that I have had to learn, is that your weaknesses are the very thing that make you the most lovable. We think it is our strengths. This guy said to his girlfriend, you know, when she was telling about what it was that made her fall in love with him, he said, well, it wasn't like some cool basketball shot, or he's talking about some cool feat of something that he did. And she's like, no. These are these binding moments, the moments where you break, the moments where you fail, the moments where you are struggling. And when someone that truly loves you is beside you and still sees your value and still stands with you and still supports you, that's a bonding moment. These are the vulnerable things that bind us together, that find the people that love us. So it's kind of cool to see. It's played out in front of us on YouTube. So stick around. I got more videos coming up. The next one is dating on TikTok. I hope you like it. Like, subscribe, follow. I'm James Burnham. Thanks for joining me.